hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good. I always worry about technical stuff, and I'm actually a little bit like, I'm on an adrenaline buzz right now because I lost track of time and I got confused about I was thinking I had
Oh,
another hour. I was like, "Oh,
oh,
no,
shoot.
no, it's almost 10 there." You guys are 9.5 hours ahead of us, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had to
yeah.
do this calculation and I screwed up, but I'm on time.
Oh,
So, anyway,
no
so it's
worries at all.
nice to meet you,
Likewise,
Sahil.
my pleasure. Yes, Sahil.
Sahil. Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was going to get that right, but I've been watching your channel forever. I'll go ahead and sort of do a little intro. I'm a terrible interviewer. I just chat. That's all I do. I
That
just talk.
that's that's fine. Those are the best interviews, actually.
Just like, just a casual chat. This is Sin from Sin's Corner, as
Yeah.
everybody knows, and this is Sahil from Headbangers Kitchen. I
Yes.
discovered him. Oh gosh, it's been a good while, probably a couple, 3 years maybe, after I got started on keto myself.
Wow.
That was how I found your channel. And you brought such enthusiasm and excitement to the recipes you were talking about and the way you made them that I was like, oh, I like this guy. I'm going to have to subscribe. So I would like if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, whatever you want to say, and your channel and your diet nutrition journey and how it's evolved over the years.
Right. Yeah, because there's a lot, a lot to actually unpack. Because right. So I mean, Headbangers Kitchen was kind of born, like everything else in my life, from my musical aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a death metal musician for 22 years now.
Wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, and Headbangers Kitchen was something I started in 2011. I've always been a fan of cooking and good food, and that's actually something I was interested in as a child. And but like when I got into death metal and heavy metal, I kind of lost interest in everything else that I was
Hmm.
doing. But food is something that you can't really lose interest in. I mean, you may not want
Right.
to pursue it,
Right.
yeah, like a career or anything, but you're always going to eat food and cook food because you have to eat. So I was always cooking and eating, and finally I decided to merge my passion for music and food together and kind of create a show on YouTube, because I think that was around the time where YouTube had started to become popular in India, because more and more people were getting broadband connections, so you were able to consume video content on YouTube. And I'd been watching a lot of YouTubers like I don't know if you've ever seen Epic Meal Time.
No, I have not.
There's like 7 million subscribers, and there were
Oh,
these
wow.
Canadian guys who would do the most ridiculous food stuff. So they will take like a pigeon and put the pigeon in a duck, and the duck goes in a turkey, and the turkey goes in a pig, and the pig is wrapped in
Oh,
bacon. And yeah, so I
my
mean, they
goodness. Okay.
basically, yeah, just completely outrageous stuff. And then there was another channel called the Barbecue Pit Boys, who
Mm.
would do like these crazy full barbecues of like full animals, like full pig, and doing like a bacon explosion. And I was watching a lot of this cooking stuff, and I was kind of blogging on the side on Facebook. And because my band had just done our first music video, I asked the director, saying, look, I have an idea to film my recipes and put them on YouTube. Will you film them? He's like, yeah, I'll do it, but let's do something a little more interesting than just a recipe video. So I brainstormed, and that's how I came up with Headbangers Kitchen. So I would cook a dish inspired by a heavy metal band, and I would interview that band on the show, and then they would taste the food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
That's
that was
interesting.
the
Yeah.
that was the actual show that we did, and I did this for about 4 years. At that time, the channel I think grew to about 5,000 subscribers in
Mm.
like 4 years, and I think I reached a point where I was like, I put too much effort and time and money into this, and it's not really going anywhere. And at that point, this show was a bit of a production, so I would like, it started with this guy who made my video. He had a full production team with cameraman, lights, because he was a video production company, and
Mm-hmm.
he at some point said, look, this is not making me any money, I can't invest my time into this. So I started getting people myself to film it and edit, and I was spending money to do like a monthly episode. And after 4 years, I was like, you know what, this is not worth the time, effort, and the money for like 5,000 subscribers and
Yeah. Yeah.
2,000 views on a video. like the same time I can spend making music and promoting my music or doing something with that. So I let go of it and I said, I still like to cook. So I'll film everything on my own, and I learned to edit. And I just use one camera. So I started doing stuff on the channel. And I think it was around 2016 that I was on the keto diet after discovering it through a friend of mine. And then my wife did it and she lost weight. And I was like, wow, you both lost so much weight without exercise. I'm on board. And I mean, it's just one of those things, I'm eating pizza made out of cauliflower and I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, this has to go onto YouTube. Like,
Yeah, you're right.
like I can't not do this. So I think it was December 2016, I want to say, or 2015 that I uploaded my first keto video. I think the first video I did was bulletproof coffee, like putting
Oh,
butter in my
yes.
coffee. Yeah, I was
Staple
like,
for keto eaters.
but the funny thing is that's the first and last time I had bulletproof coffee. Like
Oh,
it
really?
just, yeah, like I never enjoyed bulletproof coffee. Like it just felt like too many calories for,
Yeah.
too little taste. But I started with that, and then I did the cauliflower pizza, and I did the zucchini noodles, and I was like, man, this is epic, keto cheesecake. I'm like, I'm making and eating these things. Okay, great. So I did keto for like 3 months. That was the first time I did keto. And these videos started to get traction because I think at that point there was no keto connect as well. It was just me,
Okay.
like
All
as
right.
a like because I did 3 months of keto videos, and I don't think any other channel had that many keto recipes on it. You know, I don't even think there was any keto channel at that point, like that
There
I
might
can
not
think
have
of.
been because I'm 3 years into keto, a little bit more than
Yeah,
3 years into keto. And so, yeah, I found Keto Connect and I found you, but I didn't trace back to see how far the channels had gone. So it seems like you kind
yeah,
of came in on a time when awareness of the keto way of eating was starting to
yeah,
build. It's like you just hit it at a really good time.
yeah. I was right time, right place. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I did the keto recipes, and then I went and started doing other videos, and then every day I got more and more comments on my video saying, "Hey man, make more keto recipes." And when I'd upload a non-keto recipe, people would comment saying, "Hey, this is a great recipe. We could make this keto by doing this."
Yeah, yeah.
And then I again got back on keto and I started making recipes. And at some point I realized that, okay, more people want keto recipes. Every time I upload a keto recipe, it gets a lot of views and comments.
Mhm.
Just roll with it.
Right.
And next thing you know, here we are 5 years later. I have 629,000 subscribers, and
Wow.
this is my full-time job now.
That's right, because you posted a video about how you were moving out. You and your wife had moved to a new apartment, and I just watched your latest video today too, the one where you talked about the five or the
Yeah,
it was a total of 5 things
that I
that
learned. Yeah,
yeah after you stopped keto because you've
yeah,
gone off and on or on and off or however. And what has been the reaction? Okay, so first I guess I should sort of step back a little bit for anybody
yeah.
who doesn't know, and maybe if you could explain to the viewers basically what is keto, why does it seem to be so popular or controversial or
Right.
whatever?
Yeah. So okay. So for those who don't know, keto is basically short for the ketogenic diet. It is a way of eating that puts your body into a state of ketosis, the metabolic state of ketosis, where your body uses ketones for fuel as an alternative to glucose. That's basically what it is. And you achieve this state by depriving your body of carbs. So bread, rice, pasta, things like that, high carb vegetables or high starchy vegetables like potatoes, etc. And once your body is, and this is generally, they say, between the 20 to 50 grams of net carbs in a day,
Mhm.
your body can achieve a state of ketosis. When your body is in ketosis, it will burn fat for energy rather than glucose. So you have more fat in your diet to fuel your body through that. That's basically what it is,
Yeah.
in a nutshell. In terms of its popularity, it's being controversial and all that, I think it's largely like with anything that becomes popular. Keto started out as a sort of treatment for epilepsy.
Mhm.
Then it started to get popular because it was helping people lose weight quickly because they were starting to eat better foods.
Right.
Uh, and it also helped a lot of people with their diabetes because
Mhm.
It sort of helped a lot of people with diabetes and other ailments and all. And a lot of this is also because it was helping people lose weight. And this is, I think, true with most diets, is when anyone changes their diet from, say, and I guess the baseline diet we're looking at here is the standard American diet. When anyone changes from a diet like that to anything, whether it's keto, low carb, carnivore, vegan, most people in general make healthier choices. And that automatically helps uh, you know, their diseases, their inflammations, their gut health, everything.
Mhm.
It is the detox without being an actual detox, so to
Right,
speak.
right.
Because detox is just a marketing term that's used to make suckers out of everybody. But you know,
Yeah.
the thing is, it's a healthy way of eating. Keto encourages you to basically eat good healthy fats, to have more vegetables in your diet, to eat high
Yeah.
quality meat. And I guess the controversial part comes then from when a diet like this becomes popular and then misinformation spreads and people realize they can make money out of this. So it gets into a marketing thing, and then
Mhm.
keto is sold like a fast weight loss,
Yeah.
quick weight loss. And you know I think with every diet, again, this is whatever I say is kind of like, even with carnivore, vegan, it starts to get into this space where people get very extreme about their diet. Like, it's like it becomes like religion. Mine is the only correct one, everything else is wrong.
Yes, I've noticed.
And that
Yeah.
what causes then that's what causes the backlash also as well. The
Right.
pushback comes from keto police going like, oh, all carbs are evil, you cannot eat carbs, you will die, like things like that. And like keto is the only way you should be eating. And then obviously people who don't eat keto are like, oh, keto, you don't have any proof, and this is, look, we've got like these cases where people have got negative reactions, and it becomes like another
Yeah.
war on.
Big
So
fight.
I prefer to stay out of that. I'm more like a eat whatever suits your lifestyle, but keto is a great option for you if you enjoy this kind of food, if you are suffering from different kinds of inflammations and you're unable to practice moderation or things like that, like whatever reason, if you found the why and keto works for you, it's a great way to eat.
Yeah. Did you jump into it? Yeah, I totally agree. For myself, I started because, and I love carbs, love carbs. And I used to be one of those fat is evil type of people, like way back a couple decades back. I was really like, oh no, I was
Me
counting
too.
no fat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because that's what we had been told. And what we didn't realize is that the substitute for that was that we were eating a lot more sugar, processed sugars and simple carbs and things like that weren't really doing our body a whole lot of good. And so through the years, as I got older, I started noticing when I would eat carbs, I just felt gross, just blah, and bloated. And I didn't like that feeling. And so I kind of just jumped into keto a little blind. I knew just the basics, but I learned as I went along. And so when you went into it, when you started it, did you know pretty much everything you needed to know, or did you just kind of jump in and learn as you went along?
So I was very fortunate that I learned about keto from a bass player friend of mine who was in my band with me, and
Yes.
he had done his research, but I guess the way he explained it, he didn't have the science of it down pat. He just was
Mhm.
like, I'm on this diet. I don't eat the bread. Like I eat the burger bun and I don't eat the bread. I eat meat and I eat butter and I eat vegetables, but I don't touch the rice and the pasta and all that. And I was the first person to tell him because I was conditioned to know that fat is not good for you. I was like, dude, you're going to get a heart attack and die.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, no, 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 no. I'll be fine. There's a science to it or whatever. But again, I was not convinced because he could not
Explain.
articulate
Yeah.
the it to me properly. So anyway, he did the keto diet and he was quite obese. He was really overweight. So he lost like 30 kilos, which is like 60, 70 pounds.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm still not convinced, like I'm happy that you've lost the weight. You've definitely become healthier and all that. But my wife, Dipti, called him up, had a chat with him, figured out, okay, it's keto. She went online, she did all the research
Ah.
as she always does. She's one of those people who just research. She knows everything about everything because she just sits and reads all day. So she did all the research. I told her, listen, you're going to get a heart attack. She said, no, stop being an idiot. I've gone through this. I know what I'm doing. You know, and she did keto. She lost, I think she lost about 8 or 10 kilos, which is about 20 pounds.
Oh wow.
And she obviously explained everything to me, the science and all that. And I was like, okay, you both lost weight. Your scientific arguments are convincing me that I won't get a heart attack. It makes sense what you say. And I started keto. Then obviously from there on, we were both on and off keto together for a while. So, we would share research, we would do stuff and all. And then some point she stopped keto and she went on her merry way. and
Oh,
and and then and obviously by then I think keto had become my channel focus, and I was constantly reading up, watching videos, etc., etc., and I kept learning. But I did have the basics down quite solid.
okay. Well, I mean, that's good because a lot of things that happen, a lot of times what happens is people that go into keto and they don't plan it out right. They go through this, what they call the keto flu. Did you ever experience that yourself?
All the time actually, and I think that was one
Really?
of what. Yeah, yeah. Like I didn't get the flu like I think a lot of people get it. So for me, what would happen is every time I started keto again, like, and
Uh,
this is actually why I stopped. Like, this would be one of the larger reasons I stopped keto, because I got tired of going in and out of it. Because like I said, I never did keto for metabolic benefits or for inflammation or for anything else. It was purely a weight loss or a fat loss tool for me.
mm,
So at some point, just going in and out of ketosis and feeling that keto flu, I was just like, I can't do this. I'd just
right.
rather eat carbs, eat in moderation. I'd eat low carb if I need to, but I don't want to get in and out of the state of ketosis, because
Right, right.
so I get very depressed when I start keto. Like, I want to quit my job. I want to stop making
Oh
videos.
no.
Every little thing that's negative gets amplified for me. I
Mm.
don't know why. I look at my stats and I'll be like, oh, this is so depressing.
Oh,
I like, so, and that's because I lose, like, yeah, it's just that process for me. Like, I don't feel nauseous, or like I don't have those physical discomforts, except like that the weight of the world is on my shoulders, and
no.
I just want to take a nap.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's unfortunate, but I completely get it. For me, I've heard the claim made that keto is not sustainable, and maybe for a lot of people that's the case, but for me, I found it surprisingly easy to stay on it. The things that I thought were going to be a big struggle, like giving up, white pasta, white rice, breads, and things like that, that was pretty much a non-issue for me, surprisingly, as much as I loved carbs. But the one thing that was the hardest was something I was not expecting, and that was giving up powdered coffee creamer. What? Why is this hard? Because I didn't like the idea of putting liquid in my coffee. I felt like it diluted and changed the taste. But I was at the time I was thinking more like milk. But what I really use is heavy cream or heavy
Right.
whipping cream, and I'm completely used to it now. And now the thought of going back to powdered creamer is just like, no, thank you. But
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. I don't know if it's just because I just had a mindset that, well, I'm going to do this and I'm just going to do it. Period.
Yeah.
Because once I set my mind to something and I'm really sure about it, I just hang on to it and that's it.
Yeah.
But some people seem to have a struggle. But I feel like there's so many substitutes that you can make with a keto friendly way
Yeah.
to accommodate for the fact that maybe you can't have regular bread anymore or
Yeah.
rice and things like that. So, what was
Yeah.
the biggest struggle for you?
Absolutely. So the thing is, I think for me in general, a lot to do because I am a foodie, first and foremost. I do love food, and as someone who cooks for a living, for making recipe videos, I want to taste all the food. I don't want to not be able to taste rice and bread and different dishes when I travel the world that have carbs, because that's what helps me develop my palate to understand textures and taste. So when I
Right.
make a keto version of something, I know what I'm trying to achieve.
Mhm.
um and in an honest sense, like, I think keto is sustainable. Again, it depends purely on the person, the lifestyle, the love or lack of, or the way they look at food as well, everything makes a big difference. Because like when I think of it, obviously I enjoyed my time on keto. It's not like I didn't enjoy it. I made so many delicious dishes and recipes. I was eating meats that today I have to think twice about. Like I can eat a pork chop on keto, and like, yeah, it's chill. I can eat a fatty pork rib without thinking about how many calories I am. But now when I'm practicing moderation, I have to think about that, because
Yeah.
I know that, if I'm going to eat a pork chop that's 300 calories and I'm eating 200 calories in bread, I got to think about that. On keto, it's like, yeah, there's no bread, so I've got the extra calories any which way,
Right.
so I can,
Right. Yeah.
so there are pros and cons for every lifestyle, and honestly, it boils down to the person. Does the person
Yep.
want to do that? Like for somebody who's got diabetes, who's reversed their diabetes or gone off their medication because of keto, for them, they're like, you know what? I don't need a slice of bread in my life. It's okay.
Right. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm happier this way. And similarly, there are people who eat purely for function. Like for example, bodybuilders, a lot of them just eat for function. For
Hmm.
them, food is nutrition to achieve a certain goal. Or for certain
Right.
people, it's performance based. For them, they don't care about eating a delicious donut or eating, even on keto, they may not touch any of that stuff, keto donuts or keto sweets, because for them it's functional. For some people it may be ethical, like vegans. They don't need, like, veganism is not, like, a vegan diet is not sustainable for me personally because I love meat. But like for a vegan who's just so in love with animals and whose ethics are like so strong that they will not,
Hmm.
be a part of animal slaughter, for them it's a walk in the park. I mean,
Right.
it
Right. Yeah.
really it really to me is too individual to put any kind of blanket statement. Like, keto is difficult or hard depending on you, the person.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, but as you said, you get substitutes for everything, So, and even today, the keto breads and the wraps and all that you get in the market, while again now you can get into that whole dirty keto, clean keto space, but the fact is they make some pretty close to the real tasting products these days at the end of
Yeah.
the day, I
Yep.
mean, that's so, like, yeah, I mean, that's not the excuse.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. No, I've been perfectly content, but I know for some people that's not so easy for them. So you made an announcement a while back that you had gone off keto, and was there was a video that you had put up. And I don't remember which one it was, but I thought you said you ended up taking it down or
Yeah,
something. Yeah, but did you get a lot of negative uh, pushback for what you had said?
I think, I think at that point that video kind of, yeah, it didn't really go as well as
Oh
I
no.
hoped. You know,
Oh,
um, yeah, I think it maybe have been something to do with the way I articulated myself as well. Sometimes in a video you, like, especially if you're not reading off a script word for word and you haven't
yes.
sit in and sat and sorry sit in my
I
English is
know.
going
No.
for a toss. I'm a sitting down. I'm a sitting down to do this. But if you haven't like sat down and written line for line and like gone
Right.
over it 20 times, like when somebody makes a mistake in life, like, and they need to make a public apology, they normally like write it down word for word to cover every base.
Right. Right.
I like, even now the video I just posted there, people obviously misinterpreting and like taking my words out of context and
Mhm.
sort of, putting their confirmation bias on a certain thing that I said. But I think at that time I was a bit overwhelmed with the way the response was. And
Uh,
I think, yeah, I don't know. It just at that time I just felt like, what, maybe just get it off and just go back to
oh.
making the videos. Yeah. So I did take that down. And I think maybe that did more bad for my channel, like more harm to my channel than good. I don't know yet, but I feel like the channel hasn't quite been the same since then, you know.
Really?
But
That's
whatever. Yeah, you live and learn.
yeah. I mean, I remember when you posted when you had made the comment about having taken it down, and I think I made a remark on there like, "Oh, I wish you hadn't I wish you hadn't bowed to the mob because I don't like it when people just come on and they just swarm on somebody, and I felt like that was maybe something that had happened to you,
Yeah.
and I don't get why. I don't know. I get, you know how people are, especially online, right? So, but it's still disappointing to see that maybe you got that so much of a pushback. Were people just afraid that you weren't going to do keto anymore and you'd kind of turned your back on them, or what? Like, what was their rationale for being upset?
I don't remember now very clearly, but like I first of all, I have to say, I think there was definitely a lot of positive support as well. So, just to like, it wasn't all negative. It wasn't like that video had some 500 likes and 500 dislikes. It was
Yeah. Okay.
still largely positive. But I guess it was maybe at that point a very a jolt, I guess, to people. Like, this guy's been keto, he's built his whole channel on keto, and now he's like not doing keto. And I think a lot of it was like, how can you make keto videos and like promote keto when you're not on keto yourself, and I think that was one of the major things that people had, like whoever was not happy about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know why people have the idea you have to be on keto in order to make a keto recipe. You could approach it as I'm just making a lower carb, healthier version of this other recipe. You don't even have to think of it as keto. I mean, I think of everything now as in forms of whether it's keto friendly or low carb, because that's just kind of the way my mind is geared now. But I mean, there's all sorts of alternative ways to approach a recipe, whether you want to make it with less salt or with less fat or, more keto friendly or whatever. So, I know you have assured people you're still doing the keto thing. You're on your channel and everything. So, but you're also going to be incorporating other types of recipes, or what other what plans do you have for things going forward?
Right. Okay. So actually, there's been a lot of stuff going on over the last 2 years. I don't even know where to begin. So after this video that I did, I basically started a second channel around this time. Because at that point I was like, okay, we'll just keep the Headbangers Kitchen keto related, and I've started this other channel where I'm doing non-keto stuff, and I started doing some stuff there. Um, I think then I took a little time off from that channel and I went back to that channel, and I saw that there was a decline in Headbangers Kitchen viewership. So I think that's where things started to go off for me. Like, I started getting stressed out, because as a YouTuber, like, this is your job. Your everything is resting um, on what you do. And at the end of the day, you want to be your most authentic self. You want a genuine connection. At least I do. I want a genuine connection with my audience. And at the same time, I want to satisfy my creative sort of side as well, because like, as an art, because I consider this an art, uh, for me, like making these videos, coming up with recipes, it's an art form. Like making music is like writing a song. So I kind of wanted to satisfy both those things. And the thing is, when you're on YouTube and you're a YouTuber, you see other YouTubers doing stuff and you get excited. You're like, man, I want to try some stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I tried all these different diets on that other channel. I tried some different recipes. And as I noticed the Headbangers Kitchen viewership and, the general views on most videos dropping, like while the subscriber count is going up, the views are dipping. So, a lot of this. And the thing is, YouTube is a constantly changing platform. What works today does not work tomorrow. And, the audience changes. And again, I think now in hindsight, when I look back, I'm like, okay, maybe just my channel is not going to be like, say, another vlogger's channel, where that vlogger, even with half the amount of subscribers as me, is still getting 100, 200,000 views on each video, because those people who are subscribed to that person are subscribing to watch that person regularly. Whereas on my channel, people might just like one recipe and subscribe, like all the vegetarians will not watch the meat recipes. So many people get sold on the keto diet, do it for 3-4 months. They come to my channel, they watch recipes, they subscribe, and then they stop the diet and they stop watching. So there are many variables which lead to, I guess, my channel not having that sort of you could say fandom, the way maybe a regular channel does, like where it's about the YouTuber and less of a how-to. Like, for example, if you make a plumbing channel and you have how to fix a leaky faucet, doesn't mean that your entire subscriber base is going to watch that video. Only people who are looking for how to fix a leaky faucet are going to watch it. So I think maybe over the last 2 years kind of coming to terms with what my channel is, why people subscribe, why the videos may or may not get the views they do. So I kind of reached a point where I was like, you know what, I can't handle two channels. I'm just going to dump everything onto Headbangers Kitchen,
Okay.
keto, non-keto, just let, because it's the biggest pool. And if people
Right,
are not
right,
on keto, they can watch a non-keto video.
right.
Those who are on, yeah, and basically people can pick and choose what they want to watch.
Yeah.
So I basically did all that earlier this year. And then in May this year, I decided to try doing regular videos, 3 videos a week. I started doing Monday was keto videos, Wednesday was non-keto videos, and Friday was my weight loss vlog.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of what has been my, like, I have done this religiously now till this very day today. And again, it's a lot about like realizing, learning. So I'm realizing now that, okay, there's no point making videos if no one is going to watch them. you know
Mm,
as long as, like, forget my creative artistic side, maybe I should just save the artistic side for the music that I do.
mm.
And now maybe focus on what my audience wants to watch, and I think that is still largely keto recipes. So starting this month, I'm trying to do 2 videos a week instead of 3, where I'm going to have one keto recipe and my weight loss vlog. Do this for 3 months religiously, have a look at how things
See
are
how it
going,
goes. Yeah.
and then take another decision from there, what I need to do to kind of, get to wherever I'm trying to go with this. So
Okay.
I guess, like I said, YouTube is trial and error, and also as a person, I am quite floopy.
You're what?
Floopy.
Floopy? Okay, so what does
It's
that mean?
flip flop,
Oh,
like,
oh, floopy. Okay.
yeah.
Floopy,
So, like,
flip-flopping.
yeah. So, like, when I started, I did keto 3 months, then I did a vegan vlog. Then somewhere in the middle, I suddenly got into vlogging, and I was vlogging. Then I did a keto 101. Then I suddenly realized, man, the vlogs are not working. No one's watching. So I was like, okay, guys, I'm done vlogging. From now on, I'm just going to do recipe videos. Whole year, I did just recipe videos. Then suddenly, I'm like, oh man, I feel like vlogging again. So I started
Yeah.
vlogging again. Then again, I
Yeah.
did this whole of last year, no vlogs, nothing. This year, I started a new vlog series. So, it's a little bit of floopiness from my part as well. But, I guess, like, just as a creator, you have like these things you want to do. It's like sometimes you write a really heavy song, and sometimes you just want to write a ballad. It's like,
Right, right. Yeah, it all depends on what you're feeling at the moment sometimes,
yeah,
and what
yeah,
inspires you too.
yeah,
My channel is completely different from yours, but I do generally go with how I'm feeling at the moment when I do whatever video that I do. So I get where you're coming from when it comes to that. But your channel and what you're doing is much more regimented and dedicated because this, like you said, is your full-time job.
yeah.
So how do you like give me an example of a day in the life of
All
Sahil?
right.
Like how do you decide a topic and then as you go about like preparing a script or filming and editing and stuff like
Right.
that?
Yeah, so what I do is I'm constantly jotting down recipe ideas. So a typical day is I wake up in the morning, I get myself a cup of coffee. Now that I have a new house, I've got more chores to do in the morning, so I finish off
Oh,
a
yay.
few. Yeah, finish off a little bit of that cleaning, put away dishes, things like that, get
Yeah.
everything ready. So sit down with my coffee, get onto the YouTube channel, and go through all the comments that I have, reply to people, check all the social media, reply to DMs, etc., etc. And I'll pretty much watch YouTube throughout the day because I work from home. So even if I'm
Mhm.
eating lunch, I might watch a food show on Netflix. So basically, at any given point, when I'm watching something and I get an idea, I just put it down in like a recipe list that I have. So it could be somebody sending me a DM saying, "Hey, can you make a keto samosa recipe?" I'll be like,
Mm.
"Okay, keto samosa." Put it down in the list. And then at some point, whenever I'm sitting down, I'll be like, okay, let's make a schedule of recipes for this month. Okay, I've got these ideas. And then I'll be like, okay, today I feel like filming. Okay, I'm going to film this today. And I'll somewhat make like a to-do list, but I largely, the morning is spent on social, etc., getting things done, sending emails. By about the afternoon is sometime when I start prepping things up and I start shooting in the afternoon. So I'm done shooting by about 4 or 5 in the evening,
Okay.
normally. And again, depends on the length of the recipe and everything. And then the next day in the morning, I'll write the voiceover out, I'll record it. And now I've hired an editor, so I send all the stuff to the editor.
Oh,
But
nice.
if yeah, earlier when I was doing it, one day would be, then the next day would be spent editing,
Okay.
and then writing the blog post, editing the photographs. So basically, most of my day is just on the computer. And if I'm not on the computer, I'm in the kitchen cooking.
Right, there you go. Well,
And
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
and somewhere between all this, I will find time to either go to, well, when I was living in the earlier house, I would find an hour or so in the evening to go to the studio and play drums. Now I go to the gym and work out, or I do an indoor walk in my house to get some exercise in. And or I will write music at some point. Somewhere in all this, one day that I'm not filming or something, I will write a song and I will record it, and I'll start working on my musical stuff on the side.
So you're still doing your music and everything. Yeah,
Oh
that
yeah.
was one of the questions I was going to ask you. But that's more like you say an on the side thing. Was that ever a full-time thing, your music? No, never.
Not exactly. Like, so being a metal musician is itself very hard as a full-time
Really?
career. Very, very hard. Yeah. And being a death metal musician is even harder.
Harder.
And being from India makes it about 10 times harder and 10
No.
times more expensive, because every time you want to go to Europe, you're looking at another $1,000 in
Oh,
visas and flights per person. Like,
yeah.
so what I did was, when I was in college, and I kind of decided that, you know what, I can't study and I don't want to get some rubbish job, whatever. I decided I wanted to do something with music. So I got a job as a sound engineer in a studio as an
Oh, okay.
assistant, yeah, working. So I always kept like a day job that kind of paid me like a chunk of money that could see me through like basic expenses, and then all the other time would be focused on my band and my music in some way. So in a way, I was always in the music industry, but as a musician specifically, I was not earning money, because whenever you make money with the band, or even as a solo artist through my album sales or merch sales, all that money just gets funneled into the next album, because you just need it there.
Right. Yeah. How often do you guys perform? Is that something that is
So
part of it?
yeah, well, I was touring till very recently. Obviously, since the pandemic, touring is not possible.
Right. Yeah.
But again, this is being in India, playing about 12 shows in a year is good for a band, because again, if I get into explaining why, I'll be here for another 2 hours. But
Well, you can touch
um,
on it. You can
yeah,
let
okay,
us know a
so
little bit.
yeah, so largely speaking, English music in India is a niche.
Okay.
Anything that is like Western culture is a niche. So going to a concert is not a regular thing for a normal person in India.
Mm,
So your average person in India doesn't understand the concept of going to a concert, going for a comedy show, because all these are what the middle class and the slightly more privileged people will do. So
yeah.
these are what we would call activities that the rich or the well-to-do will partake in.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so obviously, in that sense, the metal community is much smaller, and because the metal audience in India is very young, it does not have much money to spend, which is why
Mm,
shows are few and far between. So something like going to a concert will not be like, the smaller towns and all in India will not even have venues for any kind of music, you know, or at least not for anything that is a like, you cannot create a touring circuit in India. So like, you can't go on the road for 30 days and hit 30 clubs within like driving distance. So
mm,
the entire concert infrastructure here is different. So which is why I say, like, if a band plays 12 shows in a year, that's great, whereas any other touring band in the world is looking at 100 to 200 to 300 shows even in a year, because it's the culture is normal. Like, it doesn't matter if you're an electrician or a plumber or a gas station worker, you could still go to a concert, because that's something you do.
mm-hmm.
In India, a gas station worker has no clue what a guitar is half the time. They're not even like because
Yeah.
there's a big economic uh, disparity there, you know which is
Right.
why also, when something like being a musician does not make much money in say in the UK, a guy who flips burgers in a restaurant can be in a band, but in India, if you're flipping burgers, you probably never heard of Western music, and your
Right.
pay grade is so low you can't afford. So like I said, because playing music and Western music is all rich and middle class people activities, So the general public in India doesn't even like understand that culture. So
Mm.
if you're middle class and you're playing music that doesn't make money, you can't sustain that middle class lifestyle, which is why you can't make a career out of it, which is
Right.
why all like it's this huge thing broken down by culture, economics, and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so largely in India, we were one of the most like we toured more than a lot of other bands because we were just well known and we were able to do all these college gigs in remote parts of the country and all that. And whenever we were able to make a trip outside India, we were able to do 15, 16 shows together maybe
No.
and do a couple of tours. Yeah. So we did tour a reasonable amount, but not as much as I would have liked. But again, that's again, it's so difficult to do when you're a band from
Right.
India. And you're and unless you're like a super sensation kind of band, that's gone viral or something, it's kind of
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I was a touring musician kind of till the pandemic. And right now, I don't think I will even look at touring till 2023 because given the visa situation, the vaccines being different, the travel arrangements,
Right.
the risk to reward ratio is too far askew for me to even consider it.
Yeah. So, um, does your band have a like your own YouTube channel, or because I haven't explored? I mean, I knew that's what you were into, and I think I saw some video, but I don't remember if it was on your channel or if it was somewhere else. I don't remember. Maybe it was another. So
Mm.
you have your own website and everything, and
Yeah, so I,
yeah.
I have one music channel which is all my solo material, and one is the band's YouTube channel, which that's just normal. Like the band stuff gets uploaded on every single platform anyway to make sure that you can access the
Right.
music no matter
Yeah.
where you are. And I have like two or three other channels of my older bands which are now defunct and don't make music anymore. So those are there as well, but they're just there to for people who want to access it.
What's the name of your band? Your current
So
band?
my current band that is still alive and just barely hanging on is called Demonic Resurrection.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
Demonic Resurrection. That's right.
yeah,
You
yeah. That's the
mentioned that
one
last time.
that's the one that's been around for 21 years
Oh
so far.
wow.
Yeah, I'm the only like member from the original lineup because it was kind of born from my solo project and me wanting to play my music. So I looked for people and stuff like that. But I actually only started writing solo albums in 2008. So that channel, like I have that channel for that music that came out from then on. And I had a comedy rock band called Workshop, which is now defunct, which has its own channel, which all the old music is there on. And I had another death metal band where I played the drums called Reptilian Death, which also again is now defunct, and the YouTube channel is still there. And oh yeah, I forgot I'm part of another band, which is again yeah, I'm the singer in this band. It's called Solus Ex Inferis. It's got members from all over the world. So it's got one guy in Mexico, two
Oh
guys in
cool.
America, yeah, one guy in Australia. So we don't play shows. It's just like a studio thing for now. So that's there
Okay.
as well. And yeah, basically, yeah, that those are the main bands that I've been a part of.
Oh nice. So well, what I would like to for you to do is like at some point later, if you could email me the links to everything, I'll put them in the description
Yeah.
if anybody's interested to check it out. Yeah, I try to do that for the people that come on. But anyway, I'm trying to think of anything else to ask you. Oh, this is completely off topic of uh, keto and death metal, but how has this past year and a half of craziness been for you? Have you guys been okay and stayed relatively healthy and made it through
Yeah.
as best you can?
Yeah, so I mean, to be really honest, we are extremely privileged and lucky that we were pretty much like unaffected by the pandemic.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, like for me, I mean, I anyway worked from home. My work is not um, like
Right.
it's not based. Yeah, it's not affected by the pandemic.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's
Same for me. That worked out well. So yeah.
yeah, and Dipti's job is also she's still doing her job. She's just doing it from home.
Mm.
Um, my dad did get COVID, but he had such a mild like version of it that after like a day his fever was gone and he was
Oh, nice.
absolutely fine. So everybody in our family has been safe. We have not been affected. And honestly, I think this pandemic gave me real perspective. Like, I mentioned the economic disparity in India to you. So, like, in a country here is where you really see people suffer. Like, like people were like we. I mean, that's all we could really do was donate as much as we could, to make sure that
Mhm.
food is reaching people that are affected by it. So we like it. It really hit home with me to realize how grateful I am for the life that I have, like that I can sit at home, make YouTube videos, keep earning a living. And in India, is a like at least Bombay is a city, like literally we don't even have to step out for groceries. You have an app that you can literally buy stuff and it comes delivered to your house.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and it's
Convenient.
ridiculously cheap. It's not like you spend like a ton of money or anything. It's like
Right.
literally every supermarket, so like our version of Walmart or something will have like an online store on one of these delivery partners like an Uber Eats. You go, you fill up your shopping cart, the guy goes there, picks it up, brings it to your house, leaves it at your doorstep, you've paid it online, it's done. And
Right. Yeah, that's nice. So you live in the heart of the city,
well, depends
or
which part is the heart, but I live in
oh,
one of the main areas of the city, one of the suburbs
the
of the city.
suburbs?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, how? So I've never been to India. I only know of it from what I know online and things like that. But so describe for me a little bit like your life outside your apartment. Do you have your own vehicle, or do you have to use public transport? And how crowded is it? What's the traffic like?
Oh
Things
wow,
like that.
yes. Well,
What's
so
the
the
weather
traffic.
like?
Oh well, right now it's the monsoon, so it rains and then it's humid and it's hot,
Oh,
and we have a few months of winter where it cools down slightly and it's comfortable. But
it's
yeah, in
comfortable.
terms of honking, the traffic is ridiculous. You can get like places that will take you, actually, if there was no traffic, literally 10 minutes. You can be stuck for an hour to
Oh,
get to somewhere. The local transport is. I mean, look, there's only so much you can do. It's a city of 20 million people,
oof,
and
that's a
it's
big
not.
city.
Yeah, yeah. Like our trains, people hang outside the trains.
Oh my gosh.
So you can imagine why even handling something like COVID is nuts here, because
Right.
like
So many
you
people.
social distance is not an option.
Mhm.
It's like even if you want to social distance, you can't. There's no space. Like there are too many
Right.
people like we packed in this place. So like someone like me who's privileged, I would rarely use like the bus or the train unless I'm in a hurry to get somewhere.
Mhm.
So like people like me will use the train not because it's cheap and we can afford it, because it's super cheap. The trains are super cheap, but that's why everyone uses it.
Yeah.
You know, we'll take a train because we'll reach in 20 minutes as opposed to sitting 2 hours in traffic if we
Right.
took an Uber. But otherwise, someone like me would take an auto rickshaw or an Uber. You know,
Okay.
people who are slightly more well to do than I am will have a car and a driver most of the time. You know, for me, I personally I sold off the car that I used to have because I realized I don't travel at all.
Hmm.
You know, I don't drive anywhere. I work from home. Buying a car is a waste of money for me, because even if I walk to the grocery store, like I would try and like club my grocery store trip as my exercise trip, because it's 2 kilometers from my house maybe, and I'd take that as a 2 kilometer walk and take an
Right.
auto
There you
rickshaw
go.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I literally did not need a car at all. So I sold it off. And anyway, I live right near the sea. So when the car just sits there, it rusts and everything deteriorates, and you spend more money to maintain it than to,
So you
you
actually
know,
use it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for me personally, like the car didn't make sense. And if I need to go anywhere, I'm just happy to hop into a rickshaw and just go wherever I have to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of people walking on the road, there's a lot of things you avoid, like poop and all, the dog poop, human
Yeah.
poop, whatnot. Like it's crazy. Like it's like you you have to experience it to really understand what I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah, I mean, obviously I can paint a picture in my brain just
yeah.
based on the things you say. I mean, and the things that I've heard other people say. I remember there was a National Geographic video that my son, when he was 2 years old, he was obsessed with, and it was a 2 hour video about the railway system in India. It's just, and it was fascinating, but he loved it because trains.
Yeah.
That reminded me of when you mentioned people hanging out outside of the trains. That reminded me of that video. It's been a long time since we saw that, but
Yeah.
little things like that, and what people like you tell me. That's the only experience I have with anything related to what life is really like in India, but I can certainly imagine. I mean, we have cities that are
Yeah.
horrendously crowded as well. When you were talking about,
It's nothing compared to here, trust me.
oh, really? That might be the case. I mean, I thought LA was bad. I thought New York was
No.
bad. So I guess based on the things you've told me, it seems like for your channel, you're just kind of going to take things as they come, try out things and see what works,
Yeah.
what doesn't work. And so right now you've scaled back to the 2 videos a week, and
Yeah.
you'll
Yeah, and I think to be fair, like keto is still going to be the main focus, because at the end of the day, I don't think I got subscribers, for me. I think I got subscribers for the keto recipes more than anything else. And I think it would be a disservice to my subscribers to not give them the stuff that they've subscribed for.
yeah.
And to be perfectly honest, like I eat all the keto food anyway. Like it's
Right.
it's delicious food.
Right,
So
exactly.
like there's nothing wrong with eating a sugar-free cheesecake. There's nothing wrong with having some fatty meat, and like I said, my diet is flexible now. I'm at a position where, like, if I make a nice fatty keto meal, you know what, I'll skip the carbs and I'll eat that fatty meal because it's fine. It's cool.
Right. Right. Yeah. You had your brother on recently where you guys were testing out, some sort of chocolate something.
The chocolate pudding, keto
Yeah,
chocolate pudding.
the keto chocolate pudding. So what did he think about your keto journey? And did he join you at all, or is he just kind of a casual observer?
No, I mean, so he's not joined me. So he's always lived on his own. He in another apartment. So he also had phases where he tried keto, did keto, and he was using my recipes. And he still uses a lot of my recipes, even though he's not keto. He just adjusts it to suit his current diet. But I think he's also a good example of like how so many people, they just try keto because they hear about it. They think
They're curious.
they're curious to see, like, because he's been into fitness quite a bit, and he exercises a lot and he does a lot of gym stuff. So for him also, he was like, keto sounds like a great way to cut down body fat, and it's worth looking into. So he's done all that. So he's whenever he's been around, I've been like, just come over and try the stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That was kind of interesting to see that, because I don't think I'd seen. The only other person in your family that I'd seen on your videos was when your wife showed up in one of your videos. And now I haven't seen every single video on your channel, so she's probably been around more than I saw her. But I always find it, when there's a YouTuber that I like to see other members in their family. I think it's cool to see them come on and interact, participate, whatever. One of the things that I really did like about there, I don't think it was a series. I think it was just one video where you had a really easy sort of intro type of thing for keto. It was like 3 ingredient.
Yeah, 3 ingredient
meals.
keto.
Yeah. Those, for me, those sorts of approaches to keto or keto recipes on channels are super appealing, because I'm lazy and I don't like to cook. I can't stand it. I'm too busy with other stuff, and I'd rather actually clean than cook. I just hate it. So I like things as simple as possible. So are you thinking about like maybe other types of series videos like that, where you do super simple sort of?
So I'm actually glad you mentioned that, because I have 2 keto ebooks coming out hopefully at the end of this month. And
okay, I heard you talk about that.
So given that you just mentioned that you don't like cooking and you like the 3 ingredients, so these are actually 3 ingredient recipes and 5 ingredient recipe books. So both these ebooks are going to, so it's going to be nice and easy for people to have all the recipes in one place. 3 ingredients and 5 ingredients. So we have these 2 keto ebooks that are going to come out. And I will definitely be dropping more simple keto recipes. I've been thinking of doing a sort of keto recipes for the entire family. Something that's kind of, like if you're cooking for a family of 4, for example, something that can kind of work if the whole family is keto, but also work if the whole family is not keto,
Right. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of possibilities there, like you can easily like make the stuff. And I think a lot of it is just about putting the ideas down and having the video so people can see and go like, oh, I didn't know I could do it like that. That makes sense. Like
Yeah.
even as simple as just getting an idea and saying, okay, I could do what he did with my favorite recipes here and it'll work the same way.
Okay, good. So your ebooks, and you also have another book that's currently on Amazon. It's called Keto Life.
Yes, I actually have 3 books.
Oh, you have 3 books. Okay, well, tell them to me, and then I'll also put the links for them in the description if anybody wants to check them out.
So the one you mentioned, Keto Life, that is the first and the only exclusive Headbangers kitchen book. So that is my first official book with my 100 best recipes in it. Prior to this book, I have worked on 2 books. One is called The Ketogenic Diet. It's just called The Ketogenic Diet. I'll send you a link for that.
Okay.
That book is the first book that I worked on. So I did a major chunk of the writing about keto in that book, and I did the 12 dessert recipes. And the publishing company gave me like some 700 recipes from all their various grilling books and low carb books, and said, can you make these keto? Like, can you make 100 of these keto? So I curated, you could say, 100 recipes from their catalog. I reworked them to be keto friendly and change ingredients and calculate the macros and all that. So I worked on that book in that sense. And then the second book I have contributed, it's called Easy Keto Cooking, I think. I have contributed 30 recipes and photos to that book from I think the 100 that I. So you could say I've worked on 2 other books, but like there's one official Headbangers kitchen cookbook.
Okay. All right. And the ebooks you say are coming out shortly?
Yes, I would hope by the end of August.
Okay. Well, I'm very curious to check those out because you said they're simple. I'm all about simplicity. I will look up so many recipes and it's like, oh, that looks really good. And they got like a long list of ingredients and nope.
3 and 5. 3 and 5 ingredients.
I like that. I will absolutely be checking it out. So I'll keep an eye out for those ebooks. Okay, well, I've taken up an hour of your time. It's late where you are.
That's no worries.
I appreciate you giving me your time and your energy and your explanation and your story and everything. This has been great. I'm really excited to have been able to meet you and talk to you, and I will continue to follow your channel. It doesn't matter to me whatever recipes you have up. I mean, I joined because of the keto, but also like I said, I love the energy and enthusiasm you bring to the food you make. It just makes it so exciting to watch it, even if I might never actually make it myself. Like, I'll watch him make it.
Thank you. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Yeah. I really do appreciate that. And thank you for having me. And it's been a pleasure chatting with you as well.
That's it. Thank you. Same here. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening and you have a great rest of your week. Thank you very much.
You too.